ladies and gentlemen, now in today's video we're going to be breaking down the official announcement for Act 7 Chapter 1, also known as Book 2 Act 1 Chapter 1, but I really don't like the whole Book 2 thing. I think it makes just everything so confusing, especially moving forward, and it's just like really, really annoying. I'm a simple man, I like linear structure, I like easy stuff like Act 7 Chapter 1 and not Book 2 Act 1 Chapter 1. It's just going to make stuff like such a pain to search up and reference on YouTube. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole Book 2 thing personally, man. Again, it's just a little point there. However, let's talk about the rewards, boys, for Act 7. So we got the completion rewards and also the 100%, and bear in mind this is chapter 1 of 4 chapters, and I would say that Act 7, at least in the beta, was probably like a little bit easier in comparison to a lot of stuff in Act 6, and certainly a lot more enjoyable overall. So for the completion of chapter 1, you've got 25% of a random T5CC, you've also got a generic 6-star rank up gem, which allows you to take one character from 1 to 2, so there's a lot of value in terms of tier 5 basic, tier 2 alpha, and T4CC in that one. There's also 10 random 6-star 6-stone crystals, 10,000 6-star champion crystal shards, and also 1,000,000 gold. Now again, there are some very, very easy paths when it comes to certain quests. Like the very first quest that you get into has the flare nodes. You got like 300% attack, plus also you got these 2 global nodes that buff up 6-star champions even further, but kind of Act 7 is designed in a way that if you've got really good maxed out 5-star champions, your god tier, your beyond god tier champions, they're still going to be really, really good. But even your less exciting 6-star champions in combination with certain nodes can be amazing. They can be really, really good. And also you have a lot more flexibility when it comes to deciding like what easy path you want to take, because in every single quest there is a choice of like 3 directions and 3 bosses that you can go to. So it's not like Act 6 where it's like, you know, you get to 6.2 and it's Mr. Sinister, and if you don't have a counter for Mr. Sinister, then you're absolutely screwed until you pull one. You do have a variety of different ways that you can go and options when it comes to completion and easy paths. So yeah, completion overall, I think is going to be much easier in comparison to a lot of stuff in Act 6. So I think based off my experience on the beta, again, if stuff is very similar to that, if not exactly the same, these rewards are going to be really good for completion. Because again, in comparison to John Mulaney's challenge, I would say Mulaney's challenge is much harder than Chapter 1 completion, doing the easiest paths, and the rewards are also much worse in comparison, because you get, you know, the 6-star hero crystal, but you also don't have the 6-star rank up gem, the 25% of a random T5CC. So yeah, I think the completion rewards are decent. They're nothing like absolutely amazing, like mind-blowing, but they're good for like the amount of effort required and invested. So yeah, I do like those. The exploration rewards, you've got 25% of a T5CC selector, and also 25% of a random T5CC as well. You also have a 6-star Nexus crystal. Now, I think we were you know, if you're a bit of a blubbery whale, a bit spoiled with the Nexus crystals on Cyber Weekend. So I opened 7, and I think the best thing I got was maybe awakening my Symbiote Supreme, but we also got very, very unlucky. So yeah, 6-star Nexus crystals are probably valued about like 2 and a bit 6-star crystals, because again, you get a choice of 3 characters, but you only get to keep 1. So most of the time, hopefully you're going to get something like fairly decent, fairly useful there. So yeah, always good to see a what is it, Nexus Crystal and 100% rewards, but it is going to be a little bit trickier to 100%. There are some slightly more annoying bosses and paths, but again, nothing that was like, what is it, just frustratingly, game-quittingly bad, at least in my experience on the beta. I did like most of it, probably about 70-80% of it, but not 100% on the beta. And then we also have 20 6-star Sigstones, and these are generic, and also 10 random 6-star Sigstone crystals. So overall there's 46-star Sigstones, and half of them are generic, and also 1,000,000 gold on top of that. But also on top of everything else as well, on paths, there's additional pickups, so we've got a little bit of ISO for completion and exploration. There's also some 50k gold pickups, some additional 45 unit pickups, 2 of those, 1,500 6-star shards. There's also 2 tier 2 alpha catalyst fragments of 9k, so half a tier 2 alpha there, and then we've pretty much got like a fully formed tier 2 alpha via 2 paths there, and another fully formed tier 5 basic. So overall, they're kind of like what I would expect from the first chapter of a new act. Again, the first chapter is usually the least exciting rewards by far, but I think these are pretty decent in comparison to you know, what we had initially when Act 6 launched. Like, the rewards are so terrible, and still are so terrible for 100% like Chapter 1, Chapter 2. They've aged terribly badly, and I think these are going to have, like, the ability to age quite well. Like, it's some really valuable stuff for the most part. You know, you get a choice on the 25% selector. The Nexus crystal is always going to be a little bit spicy as well, and I think for, you know, the enjoyment and difficulty, it's kind of a good balance. Again, I don't think it's like, whoa, beyond insane eyebrow raising stuff, but like, it's pretty good for the first chapter in my opinion. So yeah, I think they did a decent job with these rewards. I'd say they met expectation but didn't really surpass it. Now, to go back to the beginning, there are 4 goals when it comes to Act 7 content moving forward. They want to empower players with more meaningful choices in quest, respect players' investment of time, money, and champion choice, reward more player achievements and punish fewer losses, and reduce player mental load and let them spend more time enjoying the quest. And at least from my experience on the beta, they achieved all 4 of those points, man. It's some of the most fun I've had in MCOC, and I'm really excited for this to drop next Wednesday. So again, like every single quest, you got 3 final bosses. So you got 3 directions you can go in. So you want to scout ahead. Like, I'm probably going to do a guide fairly quickly for all the what is it, theoretically easiest lanes and paths, but again, depending on your roster and certain characters that you have, there are lots of like new and weird nodes which buff up all sorts of champions that you wouldn't really expect to be really good. But there's one that makes Gamora crazy, man, and we'll talk about that node as well, because that was one of my favorite ones in the beta. But there are a lot of very cool nodes. So for every single class, there are 3 new buffs, and these appear throughout the quest. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I do want to talk about the Impatience one, because this was one of my personal favorites. So this is whenever a cosmic attacker fails to trigger a buff due to chance, they have a 100% chance to trigger a fury buff instead, increasing attack by 80% for 7 seconds. So on Gamora, all of her basic hits have a chance to trigger a buff. So if she doesn't trigger those buffs, then she triggers like the massive 80% fury, and then you can also refresh it with the heavy attacks, man. So Gamora was crazy fun for that node. She's so powerful. She outperformed Hyperion by a country mile and was just like a massive cheese option for that lane. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one on the beta. But again, we're going to be doing all sorts of videos and breakdowns on certain characters and their interactions with these new nodes. But yeah, a lot of them are very fun time and do some interesting stuff in the right matchup. Also, for 6-star champions, as I did mention as well, they have some buffs that are unique to them. So Adrenaline Rush, the attacker gains up to 100% damage reduction at all times, scaling with their current adrenaline. Adrenaline is gained after being struck. So while you've got some adrenaline, you get a percentage of damage reduction based on the percentage of adrenaline that you have. So it basically means that when you're on the back foot, you're a little bit more tanky, and you also gain up to 80% block proficiency at all times, scaling with their current adrenaline, and adrenaline is gained after being struck. So yeah, if you do have a bar of unfilled adrenaline on a 6-star champion, again, you're going to have really high block proficiency and also solid damage reduction as well. So if you do get hit and lose your combo, it makes it kind of much easier to bounce back there, which is really nice. And also, all 6-star champions gain plus 700 attack rating, and all of these buffs are going to be present throughout what is that, Act 7? So these make like 6-star champions that might not be so good, especially with a lot of the new nodes, like even better. Like 700 attack rating is a really solid boost, and the Beyond God tier 6-star champions just go crazy, but it's not like overly inflated so much that 5-star champions aren't good and they're not viable. So really good 5-star champions, again, are still going to work very well for all sorts of stuff in Act 7. So so you don't need to worry about that. It's just this stuff makes 6-star champions like even more spicy on top. So yeah, that's a really, really good time. And there's a load of new boss nodes, which are very annoying for the most part, but a lot of them are like quite skill-based and fun management challenges. So yeah, I didn't do all of the bosses, man, but again, there's some really interesting ones. Again, if you want to have a look through everything, there is so much to look through and cover, but also there are the 6 kind of old-school mashup champions brought back as massive bosses, and we did all 6 of these on the beta. If you want to see the boss fights, man, I think Electro Luke was actually the worst one. I didn't come in like very prepared, but yeah, basically it's a giant version of Electro Luke Cage. So there's the massive damage back, man. The damage back is so intense on this fight. And I didn't bring in Namor. I think Namor should be really, really good for this as well. I think Falcon after his buff might be crazy good. Night Carnage is basically like, what is it? Nightcrawler? I think it's just like Nightcrawler, but has like Carnage animations in certain parts or something like that. So yeah, he was pretty straightforward to deal with. Punishing Angel is Angela, that has Punisher's moves. Pretty straightforward fight. A little bit annoying though. Ice Phoenix is nowhere near as bad as I thought she would be. Ice Phoenix, you just need to bring like an Iceman counter and you're pretty good. Spider Witch, at least from what I remember, was very, very easy. It's just Spider-Gwen with Scarlet Witch's abilities there. Gwenperion was probably one of the more difficult bosses. We got her down with Sunspot, but yeah, she's loads of resistance and also the Time Stream node as well. So yeah, just a really annoying fight to get through. But Sunspot, we managed to one-shot that fight, I believe, or just about one-shot it. But I know some people used different characters, but yeah, when this does go live, we're going to have to see what changes were made from the beta and, you know, how the fights work and what the best counters are. So yeah, overall, man, I'm very excited for Act 7. I think it's going to be a really, really good time, but also on top of that, we do have Legends rewards as well, and they're being calculated a little bit differently. So it's only fight time, and it's going to be calculated within a 24-hour period. So basically, all your fight time from when you enter a fight to end a fight, that is what is going to be added up to determine like the top 100 fastest. So it's the first time they've like ever done something like this when it comes to Legends, but it's to help people on like lower end devices also be able to be somewhat competitive, because, you know, some older Androids, man, have crazy load-in times in comparison to like the latest iPhone. So yeah, that's really, really nice as well. So top 5 for Legends get a 50% T5 selector, 10 6-star Sig Stones, and also 6-star Wolverine. 6 to 100 get a 25% selector, 4 Sig Stones, and also 6-star Wolverine Weapon X as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Act 7 announcement. But if you did enjoy today's breakdown, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. And let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments section below. But aside from that, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.